So imagine a bank vault for a second. Usually, a bank robber scopes out the vault, right? They take pictures, they tap the walls, they figure out the security patrol schedules. The more they look, the more they learn, and really, all it costs them is just a little bit of their time. But what if we could design a vault where the simple act of looking at it literally drained the robber's bank account? What if looking exhausted their energy and ultimately fed them completely fake blueprints? What if the heist cost the attacker vastly more than it cost the bank to just build the wall in the first place? Well, welcome to the concept of the reverse heist.
Hello, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly groundbreaking preprint research paper by Dr. Jinhyuk Fred Chung. It explores this wild new frontier in post-AI, post-quantum cybersecurity. We're going to see exactly how modern defenders can completely upend the traditional economics of cyber warfare using two absolutely powerful operational principles. Those are Observation-Induced Model Divergence, or OIMD, and Attack Cost Inversion, or ACI.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We'll hit 1, the post-AI cyber threat, 2, flipping the cybersecurity script, 3, tricking the attacker's AI, 4, making the attacker pay, and finally, 5, the observer's dilemma. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the post-AI cyber threat, machine speed attacks. Now, you might be familiar with classical information theory and statistical learning. Think of Shannon's channel coding theorem or pack-style learnability. In those fields, there's always been this default assumption. The assumption is basically that giving an attacker more data inevitably leads to them cracking your system. It makes sense, right? Threat intelligence collectors and learning-based offensive tools operate entirely on this premise. More probes, more traces, and more responses equals a better, more accurate model of the target system.
Section 2, flipping the cybersecurity script, the reverse heist. To actually test this, the research utilizes a live system called the black hole, or TBH for short. And let me tell you, this is definitely not your standard firewall. It's a full-stack zero-trust entropy-aware protection system. It spans the network path, the kernel data path, memory planes, and it even integrates real-time post-quantum and homomorphic cryptographic execution. But the absolute most important thing for us today is that it treats the exterior observation channel not as a weakness that needs to be patched, but as a primary defensive weapon. It strictly controls exactly what the exterior traffic reveals.
Section 3, tricking the attacker's AI, confident amnesia.
This brings us to the very first core principle, Observation-Induced Model Divergence, OIMD. In plain terms, OIMD is what happens when an adaptive AI tries to learn a system's true internal state from the outside, and it just completely, totally fails. It gives the AI a sort of confident amnesia. The AI actually thinks it's brilliantly learning the system's secrets, but it's totally, fundamentally wrong. Let's look at the live dual-host study detailed in the paper. The attacker uses an Atom W optimizer AI. The expectation here is that the AI will probe the system using standard exterior HTTP features. We're talking things like status codes, payload length, maybe a few bytes of data, and it'll use that to uncover the hidden operational state of the defender. Like, is this just a normal enterprise server, or is it a highly sensitive government financial system? But the reality? Because the true state is hidden and never actually enters the AI's online loss calculations, the AI uses a process called self-training. It amplifies its own early guesses. And because the exterior channel gives it literally no real clues, the AI just gets confidently stuck on the wrong class.
Notice the trajectories on these charts. It's wild. The mass of the AI's belief in the true state actually plummets as the steps go on, while its maximum confidence absolutely skyrockets. The entropy, or the uncertainty of its belief, falls dramatically. So optimization is happening. The AI's parameters are physically moving, but it's optimizing toward a complete falsehood. A confidently wrong model is exactly what OIMD is designed to produce. The hard data on this is just stunning. Across a full grid of hyperparameter cells testing out different learning rates and weight decays, the AI failed to recover the true state on 11 out of 12 runs. The offline accuracy was literally 0. And what about that one run that actually succeeded? Honestly, it was purely luck. The initial random guess just happened to be the true state, and self-training reinforced it. Even when the researchers cranked up the learning rate to try and make the AI more aggressive, it didn't unlock the truth. It just accelerated that confident collapse into failure. They even upgraded the AI with a 2-layer MLP neural network, and it still yielded 0 accuracy. No way around it.
Section 4, making the attacker pay, the cost inversion. So this is the second pillar of the defense, Attack Cost Inversion, or ACI.
ACI mathematically proves that observation is no longer a cheap, easy process for the adversary. The paper defines one unit of work as one exterior probe paired with one AI belief update step. The whole goal here is to invert the traditional asymmetry where defenders always pay way more to protect than attackers pay to probe. The crucial point here is this staggering multiplier. In the live experiment, the attacker's wall time cost per step exceeded the defender's by about 2 orders of magnitude. Think about that. Specifically, it cost the attacker 105 to 116 times more wall time to probe the system and run their AI update than it cost the defender to simply answer that probe. And this inversion isn't just about time either. It applies to sheer physical energy. The researchers measured this meticulously, using Intel RAPL package energy monitoring on every single run. The attacker burned 103 to 114 times more millijoules of package energy per unit of work compared to the defender. You can see the visual proof right here. Look at those massive tall bars. They represent the huge wall time and energy expenditure of the attacker for every single probe. Down at the very bottom, almost invisible, is the locked defender baseline. It's just 2.5 milliseconds and 29.8 millijoules per probe. Meanwhile, the attacker is expending roughly 280 milliseconds and over 3,000 millijoules for that exact same interaction. It's an incredible drain.
Section 5. The Observer's Dilemma. Checkmate.
When you synthesize these two concepts together, Observation-Induced Model Divergence and Attack Cost Inversion, you arrive at a final, inescapable trap. Walk through this logic with me. First, to extract a model of a live, changing target, the attacker absolutely must observe its exterior behavior. Second, thanks to OIMD, that observation is epistemically sterile. It completely fails to recover the true state. And third, thanks to ACI, that sterile observation is incredibly expensive on both time and physical energy. Basically, you have to pay to play, but playing guarantees you learn absolutely nothing useful. Now, what's really interesting here is how perfectly the data clusters. Notice how all the non-lucky AI runs group together tightly, deep down in that bottom right corner. That is the high-cost, zero-accuracy zone. The attackers are spending wildly inverted amounts of resources just to achieve a flat 0% success rate. Because aggressiveness doesn't unlock the truth, and adding neural network layers doesn't relieve the cost inversion, the attacker now faces a rational but totally painful choice. It's a stop or bleed scenario. They can either stop their attack entirely without having acquired a model of the system, or they can stubbornly continue, bleeding out their time and physical computing resources for literally no progress at all. Which brings us to a profound conclusion from the paper. Dr. Chung writes, the observation channel itself can be made both epistemically sterile with respect to internal state and economically inverted. He has mathematically and empirically proven that observation has successfully been converted from a vulnerability into a highly potent defensive weapon. It enforces a structural disincentive to keep observing, totally independently of any legal or attributional controls. The defensive value here isn't just about keeping bits of data confidential in transit anymore. It is about creating sustained uncertainty about what kind of system the attacker's even looking at in the first place, and taxing them heavily just for trying to find out. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to ponder. If hacking a system now costs hundreds of times more in time and physical energy than protecting it, is the era of cheap cyber attacks finally over? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible source material. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.